Well, hey everybody, this is Scott Andrews at Arrive Business Solutions, and I'm coming out to you today to share with you the three ways, basically the three P's to discover your why. And one of the things I'm going to share with you, you need to stay with me till the end because I'm going to give you a key thing that you absolutely have to know about your why to make sure you're dialed in correctly. Okay? Now, at the end of this video, you're going to know the three ways to discover or know what your why is. So that's what I'm sharing with you here today. Now, the first way that you can know your why is to tap into what I call your passion. Now, the passion can be discovered from a number of different ways, but first thing is, what gets you excited? What do you find yourself smiling and laughing about? What do you find yourself going, oh, that sounds really interesting? What do you find yourself saying, I love this? Now, it may be something that you're already skilled at. You've already been developing things with. For example, in school, you might have been good at public speaking. You might have been good at doing speeches or sharing and standing in front of the class. If that was you, you might be a natural speaker and be able to use that in some future way, shape, or form. If it's using your English skills, writing and doing things like that, you might be able to take advantage of that by being a journalist or by being an English teacher or something like that. So you can tap into your why by tapping into your passions. Now, an example of that for me has been creating the Slow Jazz Festival. First of all, it was obvious that I'm passionate when I play saxophone. So if you play the saxophone and you're already a musician, that's one thing. The second thing was I was already attending music festivals. Anytime I saw a music festival, I was like, oh, that looks good. Let's go there. And so I had started going to San Jose Jazz Fest since like year 5. And it was like, I don't know, I think year 18 or 19. When I turned to my girlfriend and said, why don't we have one of these in San Luis Obispo? She said, you're always creating these things. Why don't you do it? I go, oh, sounds like a lot of work. Well, it was a lot of work, but if you have the passion, you can do it. So funny thing, I started sharing the passion at different places. Now, of course, there is something in that question I shared with you that is actually leading us right to the second P, and that is to find a problem. The way you find a problem is to ask questions like, why don't we have more of? Or why isn't there for example, why isn't there a jazz festival in San Luis Obispo? That was my question I asked. That was a problem question related to my passion, you notice? So it could be for you, what do you have a hard time finding that if you had more of would make your life easier? What if this software could only do this? I just created a software program at conversionate.com, conversionate.com, enabling churches to communicate deeper into their congregation, to find new members of their congregation to come to them, and to lead them through exactly what they do in their church services: prayer, sharing the gospel, giving sermon notes, and also offering other ideas to them about events and missions and things and Bible study groups. So I created that because I noticed there wasn't one. So sometimes you'll find this doesn't exist, and this could be something you can create to bring into the universe to make things easier for other people. So that's the second P. What problems exist? And then, like, for example, it could also be this. You're in school and hear that, hey, there's a real shortage of tech people. Okay, I'm going to go into tech then. Or it could be there's a shortage in people, English teachers. I'm going to be an English teacher. There's a shortage in doctors. Okay, I'll be a doctor. I like seeing people get healed. So whatever those things are where you can find a problem is where you can also find a solution, and the solution becomes your part of your why. Okay, so now the why, if you're asking the question, why would you do that? Okay, so think about what the why is. The why is, why would you do that? Why would people care about that? Why would people give you money for that? Why would people find that valuable? Well, sometimes if it's just one or two people, there's no value in it. But if there's a hive of people around it, now you've got something to talk about. So sometimes it becomes more valuable the more of a hive is created. For example, you can create a video on YouTube, and when you first post it up, only 5 people watch it. You might say, well, that wasn't very valuable. But after you start getting 2 million people watching your videos, everyone you produce is like minting cash, right? So the first step is to create the channel. Second step is to create the first video. Third step is to build upon that. Fourth is to build your channel offline. There's these things that you do to build something new. So anytime you can do that, now notice I used in there that there's things that really what I talked about is creating a pursuit. And that is the third P. So the first P was passion, second P is problems, third P is pursuit. So if you can find something that becomes a pursuit, you'll hear people in college, well, what are you pursuing in school? What are you pursuing in life? If this is resonating with you, I want you to put champ in the comments down below and which one of them really resonates with you. Is it passion? Is it problems? Is it pursuit? And you'll find pursuit is something that you want to pursue. And if you want to become a champion at something, that's why I say put champ in the comments down below, then you want to pursue it. So it may be something that you don't know anything about. For example, wind the clock backwards to October of this past year, and I knew about chatbots. I had been using them at like Zendesk, at different software, at different people's software support sites. And then I started clicking on them, on Facebook, I'd click on a chat. And I was chatting with other people. I'd send a chat to friends, happy birthday or whatever. I might send them a little meme or something, right? We all use chat for that. And we all use chat for text messages. But then when I started realizing that this chat was something that could be a tool that could be such a strong, powerful communication tool. And I also read that only 20% of companies were using chats. And by the end of 2020, 80% would be using them. I went, oh, there's a problem area. See what I'm saying? So you identify a problem space, and then you then you go even more within there and find a problem within that space that's a niche. Within that niche is going to be the opportunity for you to build something. And there comes the passion. You get passionate about it, find other people who are passionate about it, recruit them to the team and the cause, and start building it, getting the word out, and building these solutions for people that you can start charging money for and getting paid for your solution. Now, you notice I didn't say getting paid for your time. You might bill for your time. You could bill by the hour. My dad used to do that. But I often felt if you just go in and say, oh, I'll create all that for you, the project's going to cost you X. Just say it's going to be 20 grand, whatever. He would have made more money than just charging by the hour. People might have said, oh, that sounds like a fair price. And he worked so fast. He did so much in such a short amount of time. It was a real bargain. So I want to remind you of the one thing I shared with you to know about your why, that you absolutely must know that it is not necessarily true. You hear a lot of people out there that say that your why is related to being happy. And so I want to kind of dispel that it actually is not necessarily happiness. You might become more passionate and happy by fulfilling your why. But you notice the word I just used to say that, fulfilling. The why is more related to fulfillment. See, because think about this. If you're a policeman, do you really want to be shot at by criminals? No, right? Yet you might be shot at by criminals. Do you really want to pull over a drunk guy and put him through a crazy test where he touches his nose and stands on one leg and hops and recites the alphabet backwards? Probably not. I mean, if you had something to do on a Saturday night, that would not be your top thing. Say, hey, I want to go test out some drunk dude on the side of the freeway. That would not be probably top of your list, right? It's not going to make you happy. But if you're serving and protecting by keeping that drunk off the road so it doesn't kill somebody like your sister or somebody's child, have you done a good thing? Yes, you have. So you're fulfilling a need within society and within your community by doing that job. So teaching other people how to necessarily read and write English may be sometimes very frustrating for you because they don't know it as well as you do. But that's the beauty of you being the English teacher. Rushing up into a burning building. You're going to get burned. You might inhale smoke. You might not be able to breathe for the next 2 months. You might have to go to the hospital when you're done doing your job. Is that going to make you happy? Heck no. It's not going to make you happy. But is it going to fulfill you? I say it is. So that's why people become firemen. The firemen that ran up the top of the World Trade Center in 9/11, did that make them happy going up in that building? I don't think so. They were all going up going, oh, how this is going to go, And it didn't go that well for a lot of them, did it? And so that was related to their passion. They liked doing something good. They were solving a problem. You got a burning building. They put out the fire, right? And then they also save lives. So, and then their pursuit is something that interests them. It's something that they can become a champion at. So those are the 3 Ps of what I call the 3 Ps to discovering your why and discovering purpose. I could actually do the 4th P is purpose. So I have a purpose, and that is to do those 3 things. So I think I've shared with you the one thing you have to know about your why to make sure that it's real and not some fake thing. Now, there's one last thing to share with you before you go, and that is this. If you're interested in knowing more about your why or getting more coaching like this, you want to definitely sign up for my channel here at my YouTube channel here at Arrive Business Solutions. And second, you want to get involved by getting a free consult with me. I usually have 2 or 3 open. I think I have 3 open right now. And go into the link. I'll put the link down below. It's arrive.com, arrive with an extra I, /apply. And that gets you can fill out the form. It's like a 10-question form. And then you also get on my calendar and select a time on my calendar. And then from there, we'll talk. And it's about a 30-minute consult to help you go from point A to point B, where you are today, where you want to go. I'll help you identify what that gap is in between, and we'll build a plan to help get you to where you want to be. Okay, so if you're trying to accomplish a why, I can help you get there, and that's through the Leaders on Fire Tribe, and then also the new Leader Guide training that I'm offering. So you sign up for the new Leader Guide down below. You can fill that out. That's one way to continue this sort of training with me. And the other, if you want to get free information, is to join the Leaders on Fire Tribe. I post up new content in there all the time. And I have a thing called Training Tuesdays. I just posted up a new training in there today on building a team. So there's always new stuff I'm putting there. I invite you to join that and share that with your friends, especially people who are new managers, because I'm focused on solutions for new managers to help them transform from manager to leader. Okay, so there's the gap there. They're a manager, they're new, they're afraid they're going to fail, they have anxiety, they're scared. If they got fired, it would be a bad thing. They could lose their house, they could lose their job, they could lose their wife or husband. So those are bad things, right? So bad, we don't want those. And then we want to have good, which is where they want to go, which is becoming a transformative leader. So to go from manager to leader, what are those things that are in between there to help fill that gap? And those are things that you'll get ideas in the Leaders on Fire Tribe. That's at Facebook. You just type Leaders on Fire into Facebook, or I'll check the link down below. So make sure to subscribe to this channel and also click the bell, because that's how you make sure when I post new videos, you get them first. All right, well, I'd like to thank you for joining me here today. One last thing I want to share with you is that when you fill the gap and help you get there, you get rid of all of this stuff of like the anxiety, the sleepless nights, and all that stress if things aren't going so well for you. So it's my why to help people get beyond all of that, to help them not only keep their house, keep their relationship, and thrive in their job, but also to create the massive success that builds leadership champions. And so if you can identify with what I've shared, feel free to write a comment and put champion or champ, and then the thing that you love that I talked about here in this video here for you today. All right, thanks a lot for joining me. I'm Scott Andrews, and this has been a talk about the 3 ways to discover your why. Thanks so much.